most they'd say it's for porn, but it really is for other things. Okay, I can't say that, copyright violation. All right, so, I love you guys. You're the best crowd I've ever had to do this. Thank you. All right, so let's start with blogs. Who here has a blog? I know. Awesome. How many of you write about stuff that's not your personal life, like about anime or video games or manga or fun stuff? Ben, I know you do, but you're just not raising your hand. So the neat thing about your blog is that you can really build your personal brand, and you can get yourself out there. You can build up a fan base. And when you start building up a fan base, people in the industry start recognizing you. You know, I built up my fan base, and now people are kind of looking at me like, ooh, who's she? Check out what she does. Maybe we want her to do stuff for us. And in fact, I've been building up my fan base for so long that they actually asked me to MC the opening ceremonies this morning. So, you know, it can happen to any of you. So, the neat thing about your blog, well, aside from the fact that I'm sure they're all awesome, is that it demonstrates how you think and how you write. And if you want to be a professional who does writing, you can actually use your blog or anything published online as a writing sample. Let's say, I can't think of anything particular right now. Let's say you're writing about a topic, X, Y, or Z, something about the anime industry or video games. And you start off, you have this opening paragraph that states your thesis. And you have about 3 supporting paragraphs, you know, backing up what you're saying. Then you have a conclusion paragraph, and you look at it and you go, oh my God, that's the 5-paragraph essay I learned in junior high. It's useful! Who knew that something I learned in junior high is useful? But it demonstrates how you think. And demonstrates your writing skill. And the nice thing about blogs is that you can edit them if you find a typo. But people might want to see this. Now, I've applied for writing jobs, and they say, do you have a writing sample? And I'd send them to g4tv.com, where I had an article posted once. Like, here you go. There's something published. Read. Look. It's there, and you can use it. All right, social media. Facebook and Twitter specifically. It is all the rage, and all the companies are using it now to reach out to their fans and build their brands and build their reputation, and you can absolutely use this too. What I recommend is choose one or the other. For personal branding, I recommend Twitter, because with Twitter you can kind of separate yourself from fans rather than having them invade your personal life like you do on Facebook. So Facebook's for my personal life, Twitter's for the fans. And when you're writing in these social media formats, whichever one you choose, you really need to focus on what your brand is. And a brand is the thought or the concepts or the words that come to mind when people think about you. My personal brand is geeky, smart, sexy, fun, anime, manga, video games, lolcats, nail polish. It's true, I'm a makeup junkie. But those are the words that come to mind when people think of you, and that's what you're doing when you're building your personal brand. So you kind of want to keep your personal life out of it. Just make it all about what you have to say. And the neat thing about Twitter especially, the way you get more followers is to say something interesting that somebody else repeats and mentions your name. And here's an example. I took a photograph of a broken soda machine at work once, and there were some funny signs that people posted on it. And Kevin Pereira, who's the host of Attack of the Show, retweeted what I posted, and all of a sudden, I look at my email and I have 150 new followers. I'm like, what did I do? And I found out he retweeted what I had to say. And that's the key to social media. You gotta say things that people want to pass on. Keep it interesting. Keep it fun. And again, choose one or the other, Facebook or Twitter. Keep your personal life out of it. Stick with the brand. And the neat thing is, a lot of people in the anime industry and the video game industry, they're all on Twitter. Talk to them. Let them know who you are. I've met Adam Sheehan, I think? I'm sorry, I forget his last name. He's one of the social media guys at Funimation. I've just been tweeting back and forth, and I finally met him today after tweeting with him for a year because he's here at Anime Expo. So you can make friends. You can absolutely make contacts through Twitter. It's a great, great tool. All right, let's move on to forums. Here's the thing with forums. A lot of you guys, you might be fans. Maybe you're not looking for a job. Maybe you're not looking to do reviews. You just want to have your voice heard. And that's why we go on forums. And a lot of the times we feel like we're not being heard there. But you know what? We are. We are watching you. We just don't reply. And it has to do with a concept called discretion and disclosure, which I'll talk about in our next section. But when it comes to forums, you're always representing yourself. So first things first, have a decent screen name and picture. Because if your name is asshat69, what do you think and your picture is like some chick's boobs? What do you think we're going to think of you? We're seriously. Wherever I use the same screen name everywhere. I go by Teggy on every forum. It's actually a nickname for Integra Helsing, who I was doing earlier. But have your name, because that name builds your brand, and have a decent picture. You know, those are the first things we notice. And when you speak on a forum, proper grammar and spelling, it's a beautiful thing. Have you ever noticed on like a generally positive forum, there's always better grammar and spelling? And then on a place where people are really negative, it's like, one exclamation point. And I can't understand what half these people are writing. I'm like, your English grammar hurts, Teggy, ah. But no one takes you seriously when you write like that. You know, if you are angry, or if you're upset about something, or you don't like something, there's always a good way to say it. And it's a difference between criticism and critique. And I actually had a talk with my mommy about this before I gave my lecture at Anime Expo Leicester. Here's the difference. Criticism is generally when you're just harping on someone. It would be like, Courtney, I hate your shirt, it's ugly. Critique, you're always trying to help someone improve what they're doing. It might not necessarily be because you hate them, but maybe you want to improve. Like, hey Courtney, you know, your shirt looks kind of funny because it's not buttoned up all the way. Try buttoning up one more, it might look a little nicer. You know, that's critique. And a great way to learn how to do critique is, as my martial arts teacher taught me. Say one positive thing and one negative thing. Or for every positive thing you say, you know, then you can say something negative. Keep it balanced and keep it fair. And try to understand where the person you're critiquing is coming from. Because a lot of the times on forums, people just go there to bitch at a company, and half the time we don't want to hear it. Because you're just whining, and then we're like, ugh, whiny fanboys. You know, I'm sorry, I just noticed your Team Edward Elric shirt. And I get distracted really easily. I do a web show every night, and then we have little, like, it's on Stickcam, we have, you know, people in their videos, and if anyone puts like a cat on screen, I'm just like, kitty! I get distracted really easily. I don't have ADD. All right, what else do they want to say about forums? Oh, yeah, okay. Quick tip, don't ask for a job on a forum. That's not the place to do it. I'll tell you how to do that later. Don't ask for a job on a forum. It's never going to work. All right, but also your attitude makes such a huge difference. There are trolls out there. Trolls will take themselves out. You don't have to reply to trolls. But sometimes we get angry and we want to be superior. I've seen people on anime forums who will ask, hey, you know, I'm looking for an anime recommendation. I like fantasy stuff. What can you recommend? And you know, maybe like 2 or 3 titles would be good to recommend. And there's this one guy who always lists like 50 titles. I'm like, dude, the size of your anime collection does not equal the size of your penis, okay? That's true. That's as racist as it's gonna get, I promise. But that's kind of the attitude they have. You know, they want to be superior, and having a bigger anime collection does not make you superior. You know, putting someone down does not make you superior. Being the bigger person, being classy, and supporting whatever you're saying with evidence, that makes you the bigger person. You guys. And you know, when you build up your reputation on a forum as being someone knowledgeable and being someone interesting and thoughtful, people at those companies might actually listen to what you have to say. So don't tell them who you are on the forum. Remember, I already told you that mistake I made. Don't tell them who you are on the forum. All right, that is the internet, right? Yes, good, yes, all right. Reaching out to companies, section 3. Okay, we're on time? Okay, we are right on time, excellent. So, say you're not here to reach out to a company. Maybe it's something you're gonna do down the road. How do you get in touch with a company? You know, how do you make that first contact? What if you're getting ignored? Here are some tips for you. Number 1, you ever go to the website and they say, contact us, and you click on it and it's a screen where they have like a little box, you enter in your email, a little message, blah, 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 and you're so excited because they're going to get back to you in like 48 hours and then you never hear from them. A lot of times people just don't look at that email. They don't look to it. So if you're someone who's doing, let's say, if you do anime reviews or even manga reviews, you can actually get free review copies. You don't have to pay for all this stuff. You can get on their list to do it. Only if you're legit. You can't just say, hey, will you give me free manga? No. If you actually have a website to show that you do reviews, people are pretty happy to work with you. Because when you review something, you're giving them free publicity. They love that. Okay, sorry, that's a slight sidetrack. So you want to get in touch with them. Here's the trick. Number 1, almost every company has a phone number on their website. Now, I hate calling people. I don't know about you guys, I hate making phone calls. I don't want to talk to a human. I'm much better in paper than I am on the phone. So here's another little neat trick. Find a press release. You can just look up company name, press release. Find the most recent one. And at the bottom of every single press release, you'll see a line that says, for more information, contact this person at this phone number and at this email. And now you have contact. And that person is PR. And a lot of times, that's a good place to start. And if they can't help you, they could probably direct you to the person who can help you. Press releases, little trick, things I learned, things you can only learn from people who work in business. So, you're welcome. Okay, so, no, I did that part. Be legit, blah, blah, blah. All right, find a job. Okay, here's the hard part. There are not a lot of jobs in the anime industry right now. It is dwindling. Even like the best of the best directors are having problems finding work. Yes, you can always call a company and say, hey, I'm interested in working for you. Can I send you my resume? They'll be like, yeah, sure, but nothing's really going to happen with it. You have to look specifically for job postings, and you got to look it up all the time. It might not necessarily be at their website, but sometimes if you just do a Google search for a name of company and jobs, that's how you find jobs in Funimation, just FYI. You can find them. They are there, and it also helps. Remember I told you guys, people in the industry are on Twitter? Make friends with them on Twitter, because in the entertainment industry, it really is who you know. It helps to know someone and to have them know who you are, because a lot of times we hire from within, or we hire people who we know who need jobs, because the entertainment industry is so competitive. If I ever need a production assistant, I have at least 3 people who I can recommend, and I feel guilty because I wouldn't be able to give all of them the job. But who you know, they tell you that in Hollywood, it's so true. So make friends with people on Twitter. Make friends with these people at the company. They're out there, these PR people are out there for you. Make friends with them. So that's the tricky part. All right, so let's talk about a concept that I call discretion and disclosure. And this is very, very important if you ever do press or if you ever want to submit work. Say if you're a writer and you write manga and you want to submit something. So let's start with discretion. Discretion, it's the concept of if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. I've had people hound me, why does G4 so much of this, and why does this and that, and I'll just kind of play it off. We divert you, because you will almost never catch an employee at a company saying anything bad about the company. Even if they agree with you, even if you are absolutely right about your complaint, they'll just say nothing to you. They might bring it up to the boss, but they won't say anything to you, and it's the concept of discretion, because you don't want to make the company look bad, or they don't want to make the company look bad. So sometimes you might not always get answers to your complaints. That doesn't mean you're not being heard. But again, like I said, when I'm approaching people here at the con, be polite, be patient, be courteous in the way you speak to them. It helps a lot. They're like that. So then there's disclosure, and disclosure is releasing information. There's a concept in the entertainment industry called an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. And it's basically a contract that actors and directors sign, even producers, saying they are not going to talk about the project until they're ready to. I knew some of the guys who did voices for Street Fighter 4, or Super Street Fighter 4, and I wanted to interview them on my show, and I said, sorry, we can't talk about it because we're under NDA. People will, okay, if you ever try to ask when a release date is coming out, Google it. There is nothing more annoying. People will come up to me, I'm like, when is this game coming out? Or, do you have early information about this game? And I'm like, Google it. Because if it has been announced, if it is public information, it's on the internet, it's out there. Nobody's ever going to give you advanced information. Why would we leak that to you? You're just a fan, and worse, if you're press, oh, then we get in big trouble for disclosure. So, if you're not getting a response from people, ask yourself, is this something that they just can't tell me because they're not allowed to? Don't ever take it personally. Nobody's personally, hating on, unless you're a dick. Sorry. I'm not hating you. I was asked to keep this PG-13, I apologize. But unless you're really rude, don't ever take it personally. Sometimes they just can't tell you yet. And that's just discretion and disclosure. So for my lecture this year, I decided to add on another bit about rejection, because